Hey, what's up, Roxstars? Welcome back to the channel. It's Rox. All right, let's talk about this impeachment trial. Boy, have you been watching it? Let's talk about this $2.7 billion lawsuit, and then let's wrap it up with the RonaCheckIn. All right, let's talk about it. All right, you guys, the impeachment trial. So the impeachment trial did start on Tuesday as planned. And I did not think that I was going to watch it because I was just like, I am so over it. But something told me that this impeachment trial was going to go much differently than the last impeachment trial. You know, the last impeachment trial, we didn't pay as much attention to it because I don't know. It just didn't have that element of I mean, we wanted him to be impeached, of course, but in my heart of hearts, I knew that it wasn't going to happen. The Senate was controlled by the Republicans. There was no way that they were going to convict him. We knew he was going to be impeached, but he wasn't going to be convicted. He was going to still stay in office. So it was just sort of like, meh. This impeachment trial is different. While I still believe that the Republicans, even though they ought to be ashamed of themselves when they watch these last couple of days of the trial, even though the Republicans are still going to probably acquit him, I don't know how they can live with themselves. I honestly don't know how they can put their party ahead of moral values, ahead of human decency, ahead of, I mean, just what we saw in these last couple of days. I mean, we knew about it, right? We knew what exactly happened at the Capitol. January 6th, when YSAP sent his loyalists, all of the different groups that support him. He summons them all down there to Washington, D.C. for them to have this crazy standoff. Well, it wasn't even a standoff, this crazy confrontation with Congress. And the fact that the impeachment trial has done such a great job of laying out, you know, we've seen the videos, we've seen articles, we've seen it on the news, we've seen it on social media, we've seen people talking about what happened. I mean, it's been all over the place, right? That happened a few weeks ago. The inauguration went off without a hitch, but still that impeachment trial was looming in the background. They had given it a couple of weeks for both sides of the accusations to get their case together. And the Democrats had, you know, got together a team of House managers that were going to try this case, most of them with prosecutorial backgrounds, you know, that speak well, that are definitely able to, I mean, there's really nothing extra that they have to do in this case. They lived this terror. They were in the Capitol when the rioters came there. I mean, these are the people that experienced it. So it changes our perspective of how this case is going to be tried, because it's not just some lawyers that are up there arguing a case. They actually were the ones who experienced it. So both sides were getting their cases together. Just a few days ago, or maybe a week ago, I should say, we heard that YSAP's entire defense team had either he had dropped them or they had walked away. I'm not quite sure which one it was. And even though they didn't really say why it happened, we can kind of just assume that they weren't seeing eye to eye on his defense. And yeah, they just was like, yeah, we're not doing this. Okay. So YSAP had to get together a defense team a week before his impeachment trial started, which kind of speaks to the arrogance of YSAP, because he obviously thinks that he is going to be acquitted. Okay, and rightly so. He probably should think that. But you know, who drops their defense team right before such a big case like this is about to happen? So he dropped, the team is gone, whether they're dropped or not. And now he has this new team of lawyers. And you guys know that, I mean, we can also assume that it's very difficult to get a case like this together in 1 week when you have to defend something that was so widely seen and known all over the world, really, when it came to January 6th. But yet and still, he got the team together. February, what was the date? 7/6, was it the 6th? I think, no, what's today? Oh, child, whatever the date is. Today is the 11th. So February 9th rolled around and we got started. Now, I have been reading articles and they were talking about the prosecution and how they were going to try this case very much differently than the first impeachment trial, mostly because the first impeachment trial was very technical and it was hard for people to follow and, nobody was really interested and all of that. This time, they decided that they were going to make things very visual. You know what? The country is a visual being now. Actually, the world is a visual being. We have social media where everybody is into everybody's business. You see pictures, you see videos, you have blogs, you have everything is on the internet now. So why not use that to their advantage and definitely just hit us with the visuals? Yes, you've seen them all before, but there are some that you haven't seen. But on the first day, they showed us pretty much the ones that we had seen before. But when you guys actually put it together and show it, as it happened, from time to time with the timestamps on it and everything, it was so well put together. It was a 13-minute video that just, when you watched it, it was very riveting. It was something that you had to, you could not look away, because just to see it all put together as it went down, you just, I was thinking to myself, like, I just cannot fucking believe that this was going on. Like, this really actually happened. It was heartbreaking to watch that video, because for everybody that be like, fuck the government and, all of this still. And I never in my dreams thought that I would see something like that happen. Not when it came to actual citizens of the United States. But even in that statement, we could see that this was brewing. We could see that pretty much over the last 4 years of all the chaos and the confusion and all of the horrible things that YSAP had done, had stirred up his base. He's been doing it from day one, okay? He got more emboldened as time went on, and I think that impeachment trial, when he was acquitted, I think that really made him feel like he was invincible. I think the man really, after the impeachment trial, if you would have looked at all of the polls and things, they were saying that he was going to win again. I know we even talked about it in my Top of the Blocks videos before I started to separate them out with Let's Talk About It. I would say, like, you guys are starting to feel like this, this nigga is going to make it back in office. So I know that he felt like he was about to win again. And that was kind of, this last year in particular was so much craziness. And then it just really got pushed to another level when the pandemic started. Okay, that's when things felt like they were out of control. That's when it felt like YSAP had moved on to some sort of otherworldly thinking where he just wasn't in touch with reality. His reality was not what everybody else's reality was, or at least his reality was what his base's reality was, but it wasn't everybody else's reality. And, the conspiracy theories, all of these things is what, that was it was just a cornucopia of bullshit that happened that brought us to January 6th. The opening video, they got up there and they just basically said what you can expect in this trial. I knew from that opening video that the Democrat, we was ready. We was ready. So the first day, we only had the opening statements, right? The Democrats, like I said, the prosecution, I need to stop saying the Democrats. The prosecution got up there, and even though they are all Democrats, but the prosecution got up there and gave their opening statement. Very succinct, very to the point, very, like I said, riveting. And then it was turned over to the YSAP's lawyer. So let me tell you who's all on the team. On the prosecuting team, we have Jamie Raskin. He is the lead manager. Okay. We have Joaquin Castro. We have David Cicilline. We have Madeline Dean. We have Diana DeJet, I believe is her last name. We have Ted Lieu. We have Joe Neguse or Negus. I'm sorry if I'm saying his last name wrong. We have Stacy Plaskett. We have Eric Swalwell. Okay. They are the team that is trying this case, and everybody has been doing a great job. We'll talk about, some of them individually in a second. Then on the defense team, we have Bruce Castro and David Schoen. And like I said, they were brought on very late in the game. But evidently they have both prosecution and defense type of experience. So these are the people that YSAP decided was sufficient enough to handle this case. After looking at the first day, like I said, the defense team, and you guys, I'm not being biased. I am definitely, of course, you guys know how I feel about YSAP and all, but I thought it was very clear and easy to see, even not being politically just, knowing like everything, not this whole political professional or anything like that. Just watching it from a layman's seat, you could tell that the prosecution did a great job and the defense was in fucking shambles. I was like, if this damn case goes like this the whole time, then maybe we have a shot. Bruce Castro, he was the lawyer who spoke first. He got up there and rambled on and on about really nothing. Now, the prosecution, of course, one of the big issues they were saying was that it wasn't constitutionally sound. Like it was nothing that the Constitution did not support you impeaching a former president, someone who had already left office. So the prosecution made a very this was the more boring parts of their opening statement, but they definitely had to go back into the Constitution and to, past cases and past situations where they had to explain why this was indeed constitutionally sound and it was something that they could do. So because the prosecution is given that kind of information, you would expect that the defense would get up there and retort or go against what they said and say why it isn't, why it is unconstitutional to try, YSAP. And instead, Bruce Castro got up there and, I don't know what he was talking about. At one point, he even complimented the prosecution, said they did a great job, that he ended up changing his opening statement because of the way that they presented their opening statement. And I was just like, are you... I knew for a fact that YSAP probably was flipping his fucking lid, okay? Because... you mean to tell me that you have gotten up there and you've actually given the compliments to the team that actually is responsible for bringing your client to possible conviction? So I laughed at that. And by the time the other guy got up there, what did I say his name was? David Schoen. By the time he got up there, I had been checked out. That man talked for a good hour, didn't he? He talked for about a good hour. And it was just ramble, blah, 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 mwah, 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 nah, nah, nah. I mean, he talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. Nowhere in that opening statement did I feel like they touched on anything about it being unconstitutional that they would try YSAP. I don't really know what they were talking about. I don't. Okay. And when it was over, when they closed for the day, this opening statements was so that we could know for a fact if this trial was going to go on. So they took another vote. Okay. Are we going ahead with this? And to make a long story short, yes, we going ahead with it. As a matter of fact, there were 5 Republicans who had already said that they wanted the trial to go on. And now we gained one more. Okay. Homeboy from Louisiana. I don't know what his name is. But the senator from Louisiana was so fucking over it. They interviewed him afterwards and he was just like, So if I'm supposed to be an impartial juror, and I'm supposed to be listening to the case, I listen to both sides. One side does a great job. The other side does a horrible job. He was like, if the great job is done by the prosecution, then that's who I'm going for. Okay, fuck all the bullshit. He was over it. He was so annoyed. And really, that was the sentiments that you were hearing of the Republicans, period, was the fact that they just could not believe that this team had gotten up there and did whatever the fuck that they had just done. But the whole thing is, like I said, they were brought on very late. And I wonder what it's like. So I have some Rockstar lawyers, the real ones, chime in here, especially if you are a defense lawyer. I know you guys take, your oath or whatever is to, if you're going to be a defense lawyer, then your obligation is to defend your client. But I just wonder, how does it feel to defend somebody that maybe somewhere along the line you just know for a fact that they're guilty, or you just don't even have really that kind of respect for them? Yes, you have to do your job, but to me, I felt like the way that YSAP's lawyers came across that first day, it was almost as if they was like, we don't really like him like that. Like, maybe he did do some shit, to me, you can't get up there and feel kind of ashamed of what your client did. You have to just be like, yeah, he is not guilty, and let me tell you why, okay? And they didn't give me that feel. They almost felt like they were just sort of like, yeah, I know y'all don't really, like him. And yeah, we don't really like him too. And yeah, we kind of maybe feel like maybe he done did some, it was very wishy-washy. So the Republicans afterwards were pissed. And they had a lot to say. Yet and still, there were still many, many Republicans who were nays, who did not want this case to go forward. But yes, all the Democrats said yes, and we had those 6 Republicans, so we going forward, okay? So, yesterday, it is now in the prosecution's hands, and they are the ones who will get up and present their case all day yesterday. And you guys, without me just going through each person, it was just... there were so many things that we saw that we didn't know, or, things that we could assume. But I'm telling you, when you see it visually, it is just the most, you just watch it and you just go, I cannot fucking believe that this is what they were doing, you guys. When you saw it from the vantage point of the police's, body cams. Okay. Side note, isn't it ironic that those body cams was working fine that day? Some days we can't never get a damn body cam footage, can we? But anyway, that's another subject for another day. To see the body cam footage, to see what those Capitol police officers, I really have to apologize. When this went down and I was saying that the Capitol Police looked like they just kind of stood by and let the rioters in. No, that's clearly not what it was. Yes, there were some that was not trying to be in no confrontation with them like that, but those people that was on the front line, the shit that they had to deal with for hours, you guys, hours. Can you imagine fighting for fucking hours? You know how spent you are after you fight for 10 minutes? Okay. Fights don't usually last that long. When you have police officers who are being brutalized and beat down and spat on and talked to crazy and pushed around and eyes gouging and sprayed with bear mace and pepper spray, like industrial strength, that's spraying across the way. And I mean, for hours, you guys, do you know how taxing that has to be? Do you know how mentally and physically exhausting that has to be? So watching that, hearing the tapes of the police officers that were on the radio saying that they need help, they need backup, they lost the line, I don't have a military background or any of that, but just the frantic, you can hear that they were like, they're attacking us, okay? I don't know where all that Blue Lives Matter shit went. because y'all, the Patriots, let them call themselves that. The Patriots were always like Blue Lives Matter, during the whole Black Lives Matter thing. Blue Lives Matter, and they were all concerned about the police, and, we don't have respect for the police. Yet and still, you guys are beating the fuck out of these Capitol Police officers. Okay, who ain't did nothing but came into their job that day like every other day, and trying to do what they're paid to do. And ain't nobody signed on for this kind of shit. So when I was watching it, when they were explaining it, okay, a special shout out to what did I say? Her name was Stacey Plaskett, who is the senator for the Virgin Islands, I believe it is. She just was, I was so proud as a Black woman. Okay, fist pump of righteousness for that Black girl magic. I mean, she got up there and she, you can tell there was some nerves there. But the way that she just explained the buildup, the people that were involved in getting this rally together, the people that were involved in the changing it from a rally to a march. Did you guys see when she said that they didn't have a permit initially to march, and that the White House got involved, and that was the only reason why the march would even take place? Okay, they were really only supposed to have the rally at the Ellipse or whatever it was called, and then they, the White House was like, no, they need to be able to march down to the Capitol. So her job was to show how, yes, YSAP was involved for months and months and months ago of trying to get this, well, not months and months and months, but, pretty much since the election, of trying to get this, this rally and this march to happen. Like I said, the prosecution, they just did an excellent job yesterday. They did an excellent job. Okay. And when it was over, I tweeted, I said, the Republicans ought to be fucking ashamed of themselves. For you to still sit up there and watch all of that and still act like, oh no, he needs to be acquitted, when it was very clear that this man was involved. He was involved. It wasn't like he just showed up on January 6th. I mean, he was telling these people from a long time ago that it was about to go down on January 6th. And these people listened. I was very proud of what the prosecution did yesterday. Now, today, they are also going to continue on. They have, I think, eight more hours that they're able to take to present their side. And I know all of the news people yesterday were saying that they didn't think the defense was going to take all of that time today. But it's a tall order for the defense. What they do have in their back pocket is the fact that the Republicans most likely are going to acquit YSAP. So while their job is going to be difficult, in the end, they probably will still prevail. But man, I'm telling you, this impeachment trial has just been something. I mean, I never thought that I would watch all of that yesterday. Even when I had to go and make a run, I was watching it on my phone. Like I just had to know what the hell was going on. So I've been talking about this way too long, but yeah, I'm gonna get off of that. But you guys let me know if you've been watching the impeachment trial. What exactly do you feel about it? For those of you guys who feel that YSAP should not be impeached or should not have been impeached, and this trial should not have happened, did this change anything in you? Okay, I always open the floor to my Republican rock stars out there. And so I just want to know if this made any difference for you guys. And you guys leave that down in the comments. But yeah, we'll be talking about it. I'm sure we'll be talking about it again next week. It'll probably be wrapped up by the time we get to our next Let's Talk About It video. But if I have to do an extra, then that may happen. But yeah, very, very interesting trial. You guys let me know what you thought about all that. Let's talk about this $2.7 billion lawsuit by Smartmatic. They are a voter machine company who felt that Fox News, Rudy Giuliani, and Sidney Powell was on this misinformation campaign that cost Smartmatic big time. This is all part of YSAP's baseless lies and his whole agenda pushing the fact that the election was rigged, and that the election was stolen. And, we saw it on the news, especially here in Georgia. There was so much drama going on with those machines, the voter machines, the kids that worked for, Board of Voter Registration and Elections or whatever, they were being threatened. I mean, you would have kids that were just like technicians on working on the machines. Some from the other side would get a hold of their names and be threatening them and saying they were going to do things to them. And these are just kids that are just literally calibrating the machines or something. So it had gotten to be really, really crazy. And this was happening in pretty much all of the swing states where where it was looking like, the states were going to flip, or, they were getting a bigger representation of Democratic participation than they thought. And so Giuliani, Powell, Fox News, they all were a part, as far as Smartmatic is concerned, of pushing this to the point where, like I said, the company almost folded. And the founder, his name is Antonio Mujica, I think his last name is. He said that they didn't have any choice. It was either them or, this lawsuit, basically. So they brought the lawsuit on. There's also another voter machine company called Dominion Voting Systems. They also have a lawsuit out pretty much against those same people, pretty much for the same reasons. Dominions is actually the ones that were out here in Georgia. I used to hear that name quite a bit. Fox News would always say that the machines were rigged. YSAP needed a way to show, because they kept saying that the election was stolen. Well, how was it stolen? Well, obviously they hadn't watched plenty of seasons of Scandal, because, it was all about the voter machines and all about them being rigged, and they were throwing the votes towards Biden and not towards YSAP. And, so there was all this going on, and Fox News would just perpetuate that lie day in and day out, okay? Well, now that this $2.7 billion lawsuit is going on, of course, Fox News is saying that it's baseless and that it's not true, and they are very proud of their 2020 coverage of the election, and, basically, I guess we'll see you in court. But they also dropped Lou Dobbs, which was like a fierce, staunch supporter of YSAP. They dropped his show that's been on there for years and years because he was just, coming with this fucking lie all the time, So even though they believe very strongly in the stories that they was presenting to the public, Lou Dobbs is out. It's just come to a time where, I know there's this whole freedom of speech and all that, but people have to be held accountable for the lies that they spew. You cannot just keep saying things over and over. And obviously, these lies that you continue to say over and over, they have an effect on people, and they make people do things. Okay. And somebody has to be held accountable. So now we got Fox News and all them damn hosts and all those people that I know that I named. We got them all on the block. Giuliani says that he welcomes this litigation, but I'm thinking to myself, like, Giuliani has so many lawsuits going on. I mean, he couldn't even get a pardon out of YSAP because, first of all, he was part of YSAP's team. So if he did try to pardon him, then that would make him look guilty in some sort of way, But Giuliani got so many problems. I'd like anybody that had tied themselves on to YSAP like that. And child, they are really trying. YSAP has lawsuits. Like here in Georgia, they're contemplating whether or not the fact that he was trying to coerce the, Brad Raffensperger or whatever his name is here down in Georgia, the Secretary of State. We need to find 11,000, however many more votes, because he wants to win Georgia. We have that recording. We've heard the recording. We heard it in the impeachment trial and all of that. So the DA here is actually trying to figure out if they are going to try YSAP. And I think that there are other states that are thinking about pressing charges against him. And of course, we know New York, like I said, is chomping at the bit. So it's a lot of legal problems that's going on with YSAP. That's probably the reason why he raised so much money between the election and the inauguration. He's saying that it was supposed to go towards his campaign to, flip the vote and get back into office. But really that money, I think, was just for his pockets and for his future lawsuits that he's going to have to fight and pay for. But the voting machine companies are over it. As a matter of fact, one of the quotes that I read said, "The earth is round, 2 + 2 = 4. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the 2020 election for president and vice president of the United States. The election was not stolen, rigged, or fixed. These are facts. They are demonstrable. Demonstrable? Am I saying that wrong? And irrefutable." So yes, we this is what it was. The machine companies feel very, very confident that their machines were correct and not rigged in any kind of way. And now we got this $2.7 billion lawsuit coming on down the pike. Okay. And that's big, big, big money. Fox News has a lot to worry about. So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, you guys, Smartmatic and Dominion voter systems, they said, fuck you, pay me. All right, lastly, you guys, are Rona check-in. How y'all feeling? How y'all family feeling? How your people's doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. I'm gonna hit you guys with some numbers. So as of February 10th, which was yesterday, we've had 94,855 new cases. Yesterday, there were reported 3,252 deaths. To date, since coronavirus hit the United States, we have 27.3 million cases, and there are 76,979 people that are hospitalized. Okay, so if you guys have been paying attention to the numbers, everything is trending downward. The new cases, the deaths, and the hospitalizations, all of that is going down. They believe that we have made it past the surge of the winter and the holidays and all of that. So something very, like I said, you feel good about it and you feel a little positivity, but bam! Then we had the Super Bowl. We always take a few steps forward, then we take a few more backwards. All right. And Super Bowl, if you guys watch the Super Bowl, it seems like they had them pretty distanced in that stadium, even though it was a whole bunch of fucking people there. Yes, they did have the cardboard people as well. But the stadium being one thing, then we think about people going to the city to party, and we've seen all of the celebrations in the streets, especially with it being Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the ones that won. So you're going to have even more fans because you've got all the locals there. And watching that, I was just like, these numbers is fixing to go back up. When I thought about it after the fact, I was like, yeah, maybe it was irresponsible to still hold the Super Bowl. I mean, they was going to hold the Super Bowl because that's big money and that's a whole lot that comes with the Super Bowl. It's a staple in the United States, it's something like apple pie, I guess. Yeah, it's like you got all these people that are gathering and not doing it responsibly, and it's just, you just know that it's going to be some people that get sick from this. Okay, so we have bam, Super Bowl. Then we have bam, maybe the All-Star games this weekend. I don't even know if they still going on. I haven't heard any. They haven't really been promoting it here in Atlanta. I know that it's supposed to be here this weekend in Atlanta. I know that the NBA players that were going to be playing in the game were not happy about it. LeBron James had made it very clear that it makes no sense to have the All-Star games, especially in a place like Georgia where we're very much open and people are not going to, like I said, distance responsibly. It's going to be parties. It's going to be all that. And then we're going to all be in this, everybody's going to be in a stadium and that's closed in, and so why even do it? But just like the NFL, the NBA, that's big money, but like I said, they haven't really been promoting it here. I haven't seen anything about the All-Star game. I didn't even realize it was here till you guys told me last week. Okay, so I mean, I guess that's happening this weekend. I don't even know. But I know that they're going to try to to tone it down, to scale it down some. But you know how these parties are. People are going to be at these clubs, honey, and they, you know, they might start off with a mask, but let them get a couple of drinks in. People don't think about no mask no more, and then it's off. And then it's on, okay? Yeah, it's not a good idea. So we have BAM, Super Bowl. Then we have BAM, All-Star Game. Then we have BAM, variants. These variants, the South African variant, the variant from Great Britain, you know, they're over here in the States. We not still too sure how these variants is dealing with these vaccinations. You know, there's a for real threat that the variants that are highly contagious and spread faster, that they will eventually make our numbers rise again. Every time we get on a decline, then something happens. So, BAM, Super Bowl, BAM, All-Star Game, BAM, variants, BAM, we running out of vaccination supplies. That's the newest problem. We just don't have enough vaccinations for all of the demand. The companies, I know Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, and even the Russian Sputnik V, and there's a Chinese one. Maybe it's time for us to start contemplating possibly letting the Russian vaccination and Chinese vaccinations, maybe we need to start maybe looking at they shit too, and bringing it on over here. And I mean, what we gonna do? People need to get vaccinated. And now it's so funny because I told you guys, nobody wanted the vaccination originally, and now everybody wants it. And now the demand is nowhere. Like I am covered under Kaiser, and every week Kaiser send an email and they be like, yeah, we still ain't got the vaccination. We still trying to get it, but we don't get it. I'm thinking Kaiser is a big HMO. Like, you know, they don't even have it. So I look at the chart, and I think they say 9.9% of the whole United States have been vaccinated. I think, so that's still not a lot, but you know, they're ramping up. They're trying to get these vaccinations out there. You know, we still got to come to some sort of plan on wasted vaccinations, you know, because once they thaw the vaccinations out, then they either have to use it or they have to throw it out. So they're saying 40% of the vaccinations that are thawed are thrown out, you guys. So maybe they can come up with some plan, like at the end of the day, and they see like they still have a whole bunch. Maybe they can send out an email blast and be like, hey, whoever can get down here, you know, in the next hour, you know, we got however many number of vaccinations left, and y'all just come on and get them. You know, but something has to be done. Like, we wasting vaccines and all the child. It's a mess. It is a mess. But we got all these BAMs, and if we didn't have the BAMs, then maybe things could get back to normal. I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and you know, she was just like, I am so over this. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to do things again. And I was just like, yeah, me too. You know, it's not that you can't do it, but it don't be the same type of freedoms. And this cousin that I was talking to, she travels internationally. Her and her boyfriend, they get out and they go all over the world and all of this. And, you know, this is really curtailed. Actually, it has stopped it, period. They didn't travel out the country last year, and they probably won't be able to do that this year. And even next year is going to be real spotty, you know. So for people who like to go and do those kind of things, and, you know, it just feels like, fuck, we've been on punishment for just so damn long. So over it. I am over it. I tell you guys this every week. I can't wait to be able to get my vaccine. I just want to just, come on, let's move on. But, anyway, you guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to hope that you guys are all being safe out there. Like usual, I ask that you guys, you know, social distance, wash hands, and wear masks. Now they're saying that you should double mask. Child, next thing you know, we're going to be walking around with a whole fucking helmet on our heads, child. It's just, I'm done. Be safe, y'all. All right, you guys, that's it. Let me get on off of here. Still got to do top of the blogs. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Rox. The channel is Rox. The channel is It's Rox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. Hey, did you guys get your t-shirts and sweatshirts and mugs and phone cases and all of that? It's still available. Here is the link. I will leave that also in the bottom bar. And you guys can go on over to, it's called Spring now. They took off the T. you go over to Spring, you're able to pick out to your heart's content. Thank you to everybody that's ordered. I actually saw a lot of people have been sending me pictures and tweeting me and all of that. Even my brother, he sent me a picture yesterday of a sweatshirt that he had bought. So thank you guys all very, very, very much. And like I said, you go on over there and you do yourself a little shopping. It's Valentine's Day, y'all. Why not? But I'm going to get off of here. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.